26 weeks in, you guys. This is the Chopping Block podcast. This is the only living iteration. No, I'm just playing. This is the the audio iteration of two of the most popular. Let me stop moving around. This is the audio iteration of two of the most popular sections on the iStandardProducers.com website, which is still active. I promise you.
It is.
It's July. It's a whole new month. The first 6 months of 2020 don't really count. But so on the website, we have the most comprehensive listing of album credits, which is called the Credit Check. Mm-hmm. Shouts to Sis and Young Darren and Michelangelo. I almost said his old name. Who'll keep that current, and we'll have all of tonight's releases up for you, full credits as long as we can find them. By the time we wake up in the morning. And then we also have the chopping block, which is the track by track reviews that we do for new album releases. About to get that back going, back popping. And I am your favorite Haitian, Ty St. Boogie. How y'all doing?
Hey. This is your favorite Philadelphian, Two Gun Sis, a.k.a. Scissor 215. I brought the squad with me. As you see, I got the homies, so what's good, y'all?
Leader of the State Property Fan Club.
Chain
President. It's been a less hectic week than we've had in a while.
Yeah.
There was some things going on, but it feels a little bit less. No?
Well, I mean, when you go from like mass protests and police murdering people every week and you finally get a non-crazy week, I mean, it's just the bar is pretty high nowadays for what's crazy, So, yeah, I guess this was a slight week off.
In case you're not keeping track like I am, it has been 111 days since Breonna Taylor was killed, and her murderers are still free.
Still free. And we talk about it every day. And we're gonna talk about it every day until they.
We still don't know we still don't know the name of the cop who killed Tony McDade. It's a lot going on still, so stay woke, all that good stuff. Let's see. Well, shall we start? Shall we start with the BET Awards, or shall we start with let's start with Versus, because y'all were really entertained this week, and Fabulous embarrassed all of Brooklyn from what I
hear. 96 New York was back to 2003 or so, and the world was excited to get this Timberland battle going, New York Yankee fitted battle going, and what we got was Jada and Fab in the same room. So Versus kept to that formula.
Okay, so the audio is better?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, high definition on Apple Music again. So they had multiple cameras. It was a legit operation. So you could tell Versus getting a couple dollars now. And then you had the two DJs behind the artists.
I'm sorry, getting a couple dollars?
I'm just,
Okay, cool. Continue.
I'm just understating things on purpose.
Okay.
So, they got the full operation going now, with the camera crews, multiple camera crews, because Jadakiss was telling us all of this. Like, this is the Apple camera, and that's the Instagram camera. So, it was pretty funny.
So he came in and was a true hip-hop uncle who thinks he's cooler than what he actually is?
Well, listen, the yellow shorts, yellow long sleeve, with the yellow hat.
I've seen the outfit, and I've seen them. If I don't see nothing else, I'm gonna see the memes.
You couldn't miss the memes.
That one where he was dancing to throw the intro to throw your hands up, and they're like when you're getting patted down at the club, but they're playing your song. I was like, that's me. I know that. Okay, I can.
Yeah, so
relatable content.
But yeah, I don't know if it was Fab or Fab's DJ, but this was probably the worst selection of records on Versus, period.
Wow.
And Fab has a really good catalog.
Fab has a really, really, really good catalog of album cuts.
So here's my theory.
And even singles, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Here's my theory. Well, here's what he should have done. You should have bought DJ Clue or DJ Envy. and not DJ Booth, because DJ Clue and DJ Envy were there. DJ Booth, I don't know, maybe that's your tour DJ or whatever, but that guy hopefully does not have a job.
Wow.
He ruined verses. And, we live streamed the feed on Bounce Game. We got a good 40,000 views on it right now. We had about 1,200 people watching it with us, and all of the comments were about the DJ and the selection. Meanwhile, Jada, who a lot of people were like, I don't know what he going to do. I don't know how he going to do.
Exactly.
Jada put on a masterclass while drunk as hell. Played all the jams, every joint, and just showed you like why Jason's been a force in music since 1995.
Came out of his ghostwriter closet, from what I understand.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was really in the closet. I mean, the whole Puff Daddy and the Family was ghostwritten with Puff on the song with the person who wrote it. So
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't on all the songs. So,
well, the one he played, he was on. He just played both verses, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel like Puff does a better job than Dre of making the flow his own when somebody writes something for him.
He does now, but he used to try. Like back then, he tried, because we all remember his scratchy voice on Supercats, "Dolly My Baby." We were like, "What the fuck? Get this guy off the mic." So by the time you got to Puff Daddy and the Family, he had gotten better, and you could tell on songs like "Senorita" that he was trying to adopt the flow.
I believe joint too. Okay, sorry.
I believe that was the one that Twista wrote, and he tried to be better at that. So Puff's been a work in progress. He's a professional perfectionist.
Dre will like let you know who wrote this damn song. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
His verse on "The Watcher," it's like when Rakim comes on, you're like, huh. Thought we did this already. So, what did Fab play that made you scratch your head the most? I'm trying to position my phone so I can see.
He just played a lot of deep cuts. He played a lot of like more modern stuff that didn't resonate with the audience. I mean, I was scratching.
He didn't realize the people that were on were the people that know him from like Youngin and then when Loso's Way, which is probably one of the most understated albums in hip hop.
Oh, Loso's Way was crazy, but even he got he had songs like "Throw 'Em in the Bag" and all that stuff, and he didn't really. Okay, so here's the worst part: all the records that he should have played, his DJ played at the end in a melody. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna play some joints, and then he just started playing all the songs he should have played during the battle. Like, nigga. You
had one job.
You didn't pull these out. He won maybe 3 rounds because Jada was drunker then and just played whatever.
So the internet wants to see Raekwon, to which everybody's like, the only Raekwon battle that's even worth a damn is a Raekwon versus Ghostface battle, which to me is just...
That's not a battle.
A party. Right. It's just all their records. It's just a playlist.
I'm about to commit hip hop.
Although somebody did share a playlist, so I'm gonna share that link with you. My former editor Jerry Barrow, who is rap journalist OG. Yeah, Jerry made a playlist for something that he was working on, and he shared it on social, like I think Tuesday or something. He tweeted it. So
Raekwon has a lot of verses on a lot of different things. I mean, outside.
Ooh, it's so shady.
What will happen is, people, the Purple Tape's the Purple Tape. It's enshrined in rap history. But outside of that, his catalog is spotty as a solo artist. But, just like Jadakiss showed this weekend, you just got to have done a lot of cool shit with your cool friends.
With your cool friends.
So, and Raekwon's got a lot of that. So I'm not going to say Raekwon don't have 20. He could have 40. He probably got 40 verses, on songs that are hits, bangers, just because he's been in the game for so long. But,
right.
And that's what's cool about these titles. Like, you got 20 records, fam. If you had a 20-year career, you can't pull out 20 records, what are we doing here? So.
Yeah, that's
Fab
real.
DJ clearly didn't know what we were doing here.
So sad. So unfortunate. Because, I mean, I know that the chatter I saw ahead of the battle was prevalent Jadakiss can't see Fab type shit.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they were talking. I mean, it's just like you had to have
Well,
knowledge.
no, let me take that back. People were saying it has to be Jada versus Fab. It can't be Locks Records. It has to be just Jadakiss Records. And then in that instance, they don't see him beating Fab. That was the conversation.
That's crazy.
That I saw. I don't know. So who do you want to see the next one on?
I don't know, because now we're doing this whole we're together in the same room thing, so it's limiting. Because if it's not a New York audience, then we gotta find people that are in the same city. So what I would say is they need to get a camera crew out to LA and do some LA stuff. We need to see some West Coast
because
people.
I don't think we haven't seen anybody from the West Coast yet, right?
No, we need
they need to do that.
You know, we need West Coast people, or fly Buster to LA and let him battle Snoop.
Sure,
that'd be fun.
Sure. All right, we gave it 20 minutes. Is that
That's enough?
Have we filled our quota?
We did.
Okay,
that was more than enough.
I'm
good
gonna
with
get
10
on board
minutes
one
on
day.
verses. I mean, you gonna have to come on back for a good one. It's gonna have to be worth your time. I understand, trust me, because I didn't watch the BET Awards.
I didn't either, but apparently we missed out this year. This was the one we should have watched,
I guess.
So I think what happened, somebody broke it down yesterday somewhere, and I say it like that because I know that this was not my original thought, but I really don't remember who said it. But I know who it was. It was well, it was the read. I was listening to a read, and they were talking about the fact that, like, because they were forced to pre-record a lot of the performances, and the performances were presented more like videos than actual performances, and they had, wider sets and better opportunities for camera angles and less opportunity for things to go wrong, they ended up being a better produced award show than previous award shows. Because you had a modicum of control over the performances. Like, it wasn't going to be no mics going out, because if the mic went out, you could just stop it and re-record it. Because that Megan Thee Stallion performance was not live.
Of course not. No.
It was fire.
Right, it was a video, basically. I mean, I've seen like clips of what they did. I think they did a great job based off of what I saw with what they had. I have no criticism of the show. It just kind of came and went. Like I'll sit on social media, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Hey, did you see the BET Awards?" I'm like, I really didn't.
So they really did sneak this one in. They announced it in early June that they were not going to cancel this year, because this year was the 20th anniversary of the awards and the 40th anniversary of the network. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, they decided not to cancel. So they said that in like early June. Then I want to say around the 15th or so, they announced Amanda Seales as the host. They released the list of nominees. And then last week they released the list of performers. So to give you an idea, last year the BET Awards got 3.8 million views. This year they got 3.7. So it's not like the people who fuck with it still fucked with it. One thing that changed this year, which I would have expected to actually give them a boost, is that they aired on CBS as well. So in addition, I guess, I don't know when the Viacom-CBS merger happened, but in addition to it airing on all of the Viacom stations, it also aired on CBS. So if you didn't have cable, you could watch it. So I think that in light of that, the numbers did probably drop off a little bit, because 1.9 million people came from CBS. But yeah, they were really quiet about it. There was a pre-show that happened on IG Live, I think, or something. Across their socials, they got like 30 million views. So, it has its audience. People were excited about it. They finally got a Beyonce appearance, because she didn't have to actually show up.
Right, she had to show up.
So she was presented with a humanitarian award, and in her acceptance speech, she, highlighted again the importance of voting this year. You guys, please vote this year. you guys. We have a president in office who people can't say for certain that he knew about a security issue because they give it to him in writing and he doesn't read shit, but they know they didn't give it to him in audio or visual, so they're not sure. You guys, please vote.
Yeah, we don't know if you knew that U.S. soldiers were being killed in a game by your boy Putin.
By your boy Pooh, your homie. Anyway. So from what I'm hearing, the BET Awards were really cool, or were better than previous years. One clip that I saw kind of bugged me.
Okay.
The Baby and Roddy Ricch premiered the video for their Black Lives Matter remix of Rockstar on the BET Awards, and that video is out now. And for the Baby's verse, he kind of recreates George Floyd's death. I don't know how I feel about it. Like he's rapping laying on the ground with a police officer with his knee on his neck.
So it's not the most pleasing imagery, but I mean, I understand. Sometimes we got to be reminded of the bullshit.
I mean, we do. It's just I don't know. Like it, and you know, maybe that's the whole idea, right? Is to make it uncomfortable, and maybe it's not for us. It's for the audience, the portion of his audience that don't look like us, and that doesn't worry about their uncles, their brothers, and their boyfriends and their husbands when they leave the house. But it was just it felt a little uncomfortable to me. By the same token, I've been seeing a lot of people talking on social media about Well, I'm sure you've noticed because I feel like we've both done it. A lot of people have been posting memes or injecting the fact that Breonna Taylor's murderers are still out into other conversations on social. So, you know, they'll start a conversation with something and then end it with Breonna Taylor, you know, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor or whatever. And people are offended about that. People feel like, you know, we're trivializing it. You're making it a joke.
But, you know, okay. I'll let those people wallow.
Notice I said people. I didn't say me.
Right, but I'll let those people wallow and whatever. Like, you know, that's the holier than thou woke crowd. I ain't got time for them. In real life, people are trying to make an effort to say, listen, we're not going to be distracted. That's the point of it.
Right.
The point of it is saying, you know, by using popular phrases, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing, but Breonna Taylor's killer is still out here. Like, you know, like all that stuff is to shock you because you start to read it because it's something familiar. And then you're like, oh, yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the people. It's a remembrance thing. And anybody who's trying to spin it into something else is a clown. And that's it.
Well, you know, people are extra sensitive about all kinds of things.
People are just extra.
When I just pulled this up because I feel like it's really important to say the names of the officers, Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove, who are still out here. Brett Hankinson was fired on day 93 and had 10 days to appeal his being fired. So it is important that we remind people that it's not just the officers, it's Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove. One of those three is a detective. The other two are... No, one is a sergeant. The other two are detectives. Either way, apparently the FBI is getting in on it. So, you know, and USA Today picked up the fact that we're using these memes to lead that conversation. So it's working, you guys. It's working. And I just wanted to remind y'all again that, you know.
Well, also, the district, the attorney general got married or something?
He got engaged. He had an engagement party last weekend.
Okay. Well, I'm glad he had a party. Because, you know, didn't have a party? Breonna Taylor.
Not for her birthday. Or for anything else ever again. All right. So, scrolling through Twitter yesterday, and I see our boy DJ Z of DJ Booth doing his due diligence as he often does, saying, "Hey kids, this is a scam. This is not a real thing. Look at the email. Nobody who works for a record label is going to email you from a Gmail address. The email doesn't match the name. The email is from a Yahoo address. It's like it's a list of 7 things how people could tell that particular, and like he shared it with a screenshot, how people could tell that particular email was a scam. And so my response to him was that as much as I appreciate that he does it, it's so frustrating to me that this is still a conversation that we have to have in 2020. And it frustrates me that people are trying to scam people still in 2020. But it also frustrates me to no end that we're still letting our little brothers and sisters fall for this dumb shit. And I need to try to understand why it is that we cannot put a stop to this. So, his response to me was, well, scams are forever. The only thing we can do is offer knowledge and support, create awareness, then amplify it. I don't know how we're not aware was my point. But also my point to him was that I don't think that it happens in other genres. And he literally said that somebody replied to him who works in someone who works in rock commented on another thread I posted earlier this week saying he has never seen this happen in his genre.
No. Every other genre has some kind of pecking order still to get to a certain position. Like there's still like if you're an indie rock band, you know what I'm saying? Like there's still like a certain process that you can go through. There's still like certain avenues that people know of to try to, there's certain places you could play, there's certain festivals you submit for, like it makes a little bit more sense. There's certain avenues that they go to as opposed to hip hop, which is turned into a fucking free for all.
Right.
Because
there are no gatekeepers. There's no what's the word? Not even necessarily hierarchy. There's no quality control
at all. And they don't.
And it's funny because
the top don't want it to be quality control. They just want to make money as fast as they can and then move to the next thing.
And it's funny because that's something that we did an interview with Clark Kent a couple weeks ago. And he was talking about that, the fact that, so the conversation started with him saying how when he worked at Atlantic, they wouldn't let him sign Nas because at the time when he brought Nas in, Nas didn't have a demo and they wouldn't let him sign Jay-Z. And that's the reason why he quit. And so when he was talking about, the demo, he was saying that there had to be a certain way that you did things back then. And, I feel like we've talked about before how Big Doe, who manages, Little Brother, said the same thing, that when they were coming up in Charlotte, there was one studio. And in order for you to book studio time at that one studio, you had to pull up and prove to that lady that you could rap. If you couldn't rap, she wasn't letting you even use her fucking equipment. And so Clark Kent was saying that, people think that the music is quote unquote better now, but it's just that there was somebody whose job it was to stop you from hearing the trash. And there was still some trash records that got out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I don't know why people be acting like they don't remember that there was trash records out when we were younger. I loved a lot of them. I will tell you myself that I still know all the words to Rico Suave in English and Spanish.
Rico Suave was trash. That's how retconned my memory is.
I mean, it wasn't trash, but it wasn't like quality.
It was trash. No, it was trash. It was. You're right.
He was cute though. Anyway, and I don't even remember that man's name. So anyway, yeah. What is it? And maybe this is something that people can tweet us or email us. It's the chopblockpod@gmail.com. Where is it that you feel somebody like me, somebody like Sis, people who have been in this business 15, 20 years, who have been in this business since we were fucking kids, basically, where is the disconnect? What are we not doing to make sure that our youngins don't fall for this dumb shit? I don't understand how y'all get more catfished in 2020 when it's so easy to vet people than we did in fucking 96 with dial-up and a big sister that was going to knock you off the internet when she wanted to use the phone. I don't get it.
She wanted to use the phone. Get off the phone. You know what? And I've been preaching this for a long time. So this is why I love Z, because this whole scam argument, like, people enable these scams at the highest levels. And that's the problem in hip-hop. The problem in hip-hop is the people who run the labels are scammers. So when you got so when you got when you got the head of a record label putting his name on an artist's music, and he ain't do shit on it, it's a scam. Of course, they accept scams. It's scams at every level of the urban music industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not speculating. There's no speculation in my statement, y'all. There are scams at every level of urban music.
And it's funny because, one of the things that I remember being super fascinated by back in the day, and when I say back in the day, this is going back probably like a decade. Mark Echo used to sit on the internet every Monday and do a Marketing Monday chat on Twitter. Mark fucking Echo. I found out about it like a year, 2 years late, and I'm sitting there bugging out. Like, y'all mean to tell me Mark Echo was on the internet giving y'all free game and nobody was talking about it?
No idea.
Or, I opened Twitter the other day and I don't even remember who it was that said, spend that $500 on Twitter ads instead of paying for a slot on a mixtape or something like that. Like, there's so much information out there, and I just really, I mean, I guess I'll put it on myself because I'm one of the people that said that I wanted to be able to aggregate that information and make it easily available in one place, because we do take it for granted that people know how to find the information. And sometimes the fact that it's so many voices out there can be overwhelming.
Right.
But we gotta figure something out, y'all, because like I just don't understand how niggas is still getting scammed in 2020
Because we have to collectively, like I said, if
by people who can't even format an email properly. Like, it doesn't even look credible. Like, these niggas really are hitting y'all with the equivalent of, hello, your cousin the prince gave me your email and said to please send $1,000 and I will respond with $20,000. And niggas is like, okay.
I just had one of my homies hit me up in Facebook Messenger about a producer, Ronnie J, who's a known producer, hitting him about an opportunity to perform
In where?
in Texas
During in
this month.
3,000 new cases a month, Texas?
Right, this
Oh,
month.
I mean a day? My bad.
For only $1,200.
For only $1,200. And he has to fly himself there.
Here's the thing, right? You pay $1,200 and we're gonna pay you 10 grand. I'm like, bro, why are you even in my inbox with this mess?
So let me for a second, because the reality of it is this is not a music conversation, and it may be hitting hip hop harder than other musical genres. And that might be because hip hop is predominantly created by minorities, by Black and brown people. But this is just highlighting the larger issue with our economy, that people are just looking for a fucking way. People just trying to find a way.
They are. But I'd also say another way it hits is, we did all this, the show must be paused and all this stuff, and those people are tone deaf because they don't understand. And I tweeted via the iStandard account that the music business, the smallest portion of the music business is the record labels. Most of this is independent artists. It's probably about 85% independent music, out here. Independent artists who are not signed to record labels, people are distributing through, mediums like DistroKid and TuneCore and CD Baby and such. And these are the targets of these scams. And so many people look the other way. That's the problem. It's people looking the other way because some people benefit from these scams. And I mean, on the highest levels, people benefit from these scams. So they don't really say nah because they've done something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like DJ Booth just exposed the scam with actual artists, like people Fat Joe and all these other cats who were DMing people, Jadakiss, who were DMing people like, yo, I think Benny the Butcher, getting in people's DMs. And we don't know if it was actually them or an assistant or whatever, but they're tied to this company that DJ Booth exposed. And they're actually helping to promote. Now, they might not know what's going on.
What was the company? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I gotta look it up. Mike, if you could pull up DJ Booth. But yeah, Z put it out there. He put all the information out on his Twitter. And it's just like somebody just said, all right, cool, go ahead, do whatever. You know, I don't think Fat Joe's really in people's DMs like, yo, what's up, I got this opportunity. But if somebody come to Joe or his manager or somebody with a bag, somebody's like, all right, cool, do whatever.
Right.
And that's the thing. The scammers and the reality, they're like this. They're not far. It's not like, oh, the scams over here, the real music industry's here. No, they're like this. And sometimes they like this. Sometimes they're like this.
Right.
So that's the problem.
Alrighty. Well, hell. It is 2020 and people are having conversations about the big three artists of the 2020s. We're not even sure that we're going to make it out of this first year of the decade. It's looking real bleak. Okay. We got Sahara dust storms over the southeast. We got a new swine flu loading. Somebody said swine flu 2 loading. Like, the whole entire world is watching the United States just kind of implode under this coronavirus thing. And like the president said, I think it's just going to go away at some point. I hope. Y'all, please vote in November.
Stop calling that nigga the president.
Please vote. I mean, but shit, that's what he is. So fuck. Like,
it's not my president.
Unfortunately. But I don't want to say his name. So anyway.
I call him Voldemort.
I call him Agent Annoying Orange. Because I think that Annoying Orange was really actually based on him back when he was doing The Apprentice or whatever the show was called.
I love that stupid show.
They love it. But yeah, I think it's based on him. Anyway, so yeah, this was the conversation that I pulled up the other day. This was via the Rap Pack, which is my homies Carl Cherry from Spotify, Trent Clark from Hip Hop DX, and I don't know why I'm blanking on.
Trent's been at many places. Yeah, to remember where he is currently.
No. Trent's been at Hip Hop DX for a minute. My brain is, a special place. And their third co-host is John Tenners, who is a writer as well, I believe. He's the only person out of the three that I don't know. So my apologies to you, Mr. Tanners. I'm sorry. But, Carl is Haitian, so I call Carl my cousin and text him in Creole. And Trent has, given me opportunities to write and interviewed friends of mine and clients of mine. So anyway, so they had a conversation on their podcast about who would be the big three of the 2020s. And they said Travis Scott, Roddy Ricch, and Lil Baby.
So we talked about this a little bit before. Was Travis Scott a part of that conversation? I think it was Meg Thee Stallion.
No, the other conversation was like way more like what? It was like Meg. It was all people that emerged this year.
That said the Baby in that one too, right?
I feel like it did. I'm about to pull it back
up. So what was this one again? We got Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, Roddy Ricch, and Lil Baby.
So I mean,
and I hate saying Lil Baby's name because every time I say it, I feel like I sound so extra country. Like I don't sound any countryer than when I say Lil Baby. Lil Baby got a new song out, y'all.
I'm not as mad at this one. I just don't know. I just don't know why people keep throwing Roddy Ricch in this one. I'm be honest, like, and because Roddy Ricch's album was cool, and I really, he's still riding the wave of the box, really. And he got a feature out, but it's not like he's overwhelming me with joints or activity. Like there was a point where Lil Wayne was the biggest artist in the world, and he was everywhere on everything. Mm-hmm. He wasn't releasing music; he was on something. Even the Migos, Quavo, like you hear them all on this and all on that, and on this remix and blah blah blah. It's like Roddy Ricch did like two things, and I just need to see more from him for him to be in the same conversation. Travis Scott's been here for a while. Lil Baby's been here for a while.
That's why I was surprised at Travis Scott being in the conversation for this developing decade and not the past decade.
Right. Yeah. So, I'm cool with Travis and Lil Baby. I don't know about Roddy Ricch, and I find it weird that people keep throwing him in this conversation. I feel like they have to. We gotta put him in there. Lil Baby is huge. Probably not even. He's probably bigger than I even paid attention to. You know, but now that I look and I really realize, I'm like, yo, this kid is everywhere. I'm playing 2K. Like, he's everywhere. He's been putting up numbers for a good amount of time. Roddy Ricch just had like a summer,
He had a
a
song.
winter.
He had a song.
Right.
He had an
So,
annoying beat.
and you know, maybe that turns into sustained success. I like Roddy Ricch as an artist a lot, but I just find it weird that people keep throwing him in these conversations. I don't think he's ready for it. So I'm good with the other two though.
So the original list that we had looked at was back at the beginning of June when when Elliot Wilson said that hip hop is currently ruled by Drake, Cole, and Kendrick, by the Drake, Cole, and Kendrick narrative, and that the next three would be the Baby,
Yeah, he's the one that said that
Meg,
weird
and
stuff.
Lil Baby, and he said Roddy Ricch also.
Right. I got it. So
Wait, before we do that, who is in the tens? Who is in the teens? Like, who was the top three? Would that be Drake, Cole, and Kendrick? Does Drake belong from 2010 to 2019, or does Drake belong in 04 to 10
no, Drake is
in terms
more
of like his
old.
domination?
Drake's more old. I mean, he really started to dominate around 2010.
Yeah.
2010 is when his domination
I have
really
to tell you
started.
guys, I'll be 100% honest with you that the last 16 years feel like 5 to me. So I really don't know when shit happened
So,
until
like,
albums have anniversaries, and I'm like, oh wow.
so for me, I would say Drake's like after like Heartbreak Drake and like around Take Care, like Young Money when Young Money first started. Like Bedrock was 2009, I believe. So I'd say around 2010 was over, and that's when Drake really was like, "Oh, this motherfucker ain't going nowhere."
Okay. All
Like
right.
he was there before, you know, he had Successful and you know all those other records, but it was just like I think 2009, 2010 was when we were like, "Oh, Young Money's for real."
Okay. Again, like I told y'all, my concept of time is I'll say fluid to not say flawed.
Well, I mean, the reason why I have to I attach music to other things that are going on in my life, so I just kind of remember, you
I
know.
do too for the most part, but then I also kind of feel like I've been like I forget how old I am every year, and I kind of feel like I've been frozen in the same place in life, not in a bad way, but I've kind of been the same, looked the same.
Yeah, I feel that way until I look down and I see I gained a little dad weight. So
I lost weight in the last decade.
I'm
I'm
trying
out
to
here
get
being
like
a whole
you.
auntie. Y'all hear me? Tell your uncle I said hey.
Don't be a Jada
Who
auntie.
who on the grill this weekend? Tell Uncle I said who on the grill this weekend. Um, okay, so the last three we're still saying Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. Is there somebody? I mean, the last decade. Is there somebody that we miss when we talk about the last decade, and we automatically throw Cole and Kendrick in there? Which I think. Can I say Kendrick
Kendrick's an
deserves to be there
automatic for
more
me.
than Cole?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Kendrick's
All
an
right.
automatic for me. I think Cole. So Cole is the person that one subsection has been trying to convince the other subsection of
Okay.
for the whole decade.
You're right.
Like people have been trying to convince, and I've been listening to J. Cole. I've known to J. Cole before 2010, mixtapes, you know, but you had to convince me. I really didn't. I think ATM, and there were like records here and there of Cole's that I liked on
Hmm.
Forest Hill Drive and all that stuff, but I wasn't like a Cole fan because I don't know. I always found Cole to be a little bland, and that's
Same.
not. You know, it's just some people got backstories. Like Snoop beat a murder rap. You know, Snoop was a crip. Snoop was a pimp. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just talking about people with personality. Like Busta Rhymes has this huge personality. You know,
Yes.
like Jay-Z was like a drug dealer. You know, like then he had like he was like the
And
flyest dude.
Kendrick, where Kendrick has what Kendrick has that isn't necessarily that personality, is that Kendrick has given us his real life.
And that's where Kendrick is very Nas like.
Yeah.
in his ability to capture the stories of his hood, capture his experiences and put them on wax, right? Kendrick is just a cool kid in the hood that's seen a lot and been a lot, but he was
Not
just
even. He was the kid that they kept telling to get back on the porch in the hood.
right.
And he happened to witness a lot of shit and, jump out every once in a while. Somebody said that
Yeah.
it was very brilliant, and it's true. I didn't even think about it until somebody tweeted it. The fact that Kendrick really closed out this trilogy that he never branded as a trilogy, which to me is Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you listen to those three, they definitely fit together. The fact that he held the story, the Duckworth story, all the way to the last track of that album. He didn't tell you in an interview. He didn't tell you on the first song. He kept that until the last track of his last album and like just put it out there like, oh yeah, so, Top Dog
Yeah.
almost killed my dad, but then he didn't.
Kendrick he deserves every bit of wherever you put him.
Yes.
And
Okay, so if we
he's done
take Drake
everything
out,
for it. So.
if we take Drake out in the teens, right? And we say Wayne been around too long, and Wayne dedication dropped like 05, 06. So
I mean, Wayne is from the 90s.
yeah, Wayne is where Wayne is just Wayne, right?
Right.
When you say that Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas conversation, which is what they keep wanting to compare, they want to keep finding like these three that you can put in the same box together. And each of them had something beyond the lyricism. I think Nas was just kind of the fact that he was so young and it was so raw. Big was.
So I think that the next phase after that would have to be the early Southern phase, which would have to be Wayne, T.I., and Yeezy.
Not Luda?
Wayne, T.I. / Jeezy / Luda. That's the thing. I put all of them in there, but I just say that period of time. I definitely.
So in the teens, in the 2010s, or whatever we're gonna call them when it's all said and done, what do we call them? We call them the teens.
I guess we gotta call them the tens, the teens, the teens.
I don't like the aughts. I don't like the tens.
What y'all think? Tens, teens.
Anyway, so if it's not Cole, who rounds that out? It's Drake, Kendrick, and AC? Okay, from Scissor's face, I'm gonna say that's a no. Who else dominated the teens?
What about? Well, where do we put Kanye?
By himself.
Because I put Kanye and Drake.
Because we can't put Kanye in the teens because because Graduation came out. Came out.
No, yeah. I mean, I understand he existed before the teens, but
no, but I mean, not just
in the zeros,
existed, but like that was really his.
Right. He's the zeros.
The aughts. Yeah, Graduation came out in 07. So Kanye was definitely that first decade of the century.
Yeah. So.
So you say
I don't know about the tens, man. I don't know the tens.
Who do y'all think it was? We got some folks with us in the chat on iStandard.
What y'all think, IG? Who defined the tens?
Or tweet us and let us know who you think when you're listening to this. Who defined the tens? If we're gonna take Cole out, because yes, Cole can rap his ass off, but I don't think that I don't think that in the teens Cole demonstrated all of the things that are required for you to go into that conversation. I think
I think he caught his stride.
He did it through Dreamville, and he did it with Forest Hill.
Right, and he caught his stride towards the end. Like that last album was probably the album when he caught the rest of the hip hop audience. Mm-hmm. That's where I was like, okay, this is a good album. And I'll always say I like when Cole works with other people on the production side. I feel like that's a better Cole. But records like ATM, those were records that I guess kind of went pop if Cole could go pop. You know what I'm saying? It was a little bit more of a commercial.
Cole could go pop.
Yeah, if Cole could go pop, it'd be a song like ATM. But I mean, like I said, he had joints before that. It's just I feel like he was the second half.
Yeah. And Forest Hills definitely dropped in December of 2014.
2014. So yeah.
By the time we were really fucking with it, like I saw him perform that album at South by in 2015. You know, I feel so bad that I be hating on Cole the way that I do because his birthday is the
Because
day
you
after
know what,
mine.
like it's okay. Like it's okay to not be. I feel like people think that if you like hip hop, you have to be a J. Cole fan. I could like J. Cole's music here and there, but I'm not a J. Cole fan. I'm
I
not a
can
J.
say that
Cole
J.
hater.
Cole is a talented lyricist and still not be a fan of his music. You can put some words together.
That's a fact. No, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, he can rap. I've never
You
like
can rap.
even like back like I said, his mixtape days. Nobody's ever going to say that man can't rap. He can rap his ass off. I'm just not always interested in what he's got to say. It doesn't always culminate in a song that I want to hear over and over and over. That's a different thing.
Yes, indeed. So I really want to say, like, we'll say if the criteria is not only the ability to write, but your impact on culture and maybe commercial appeal between 2010 and 2019.
Right.
Okay.
So Anatomy brought up where does Nicki Minaj fall? Nicki came at the end
I said,
of
Nikki, you screwed up your face.
well, what I'll just say Nicki came because I feel like Nicki had a point where she went off and did other things. I feel like Nicki falls in between the decades, like almost
So she's
perfectly.
like 05 to
Well,
2015 and
she's more
not.
like I'd say like '07, '06. We'll give her mixtape. We'll give her Barbie bitch. I'd say like '06 to maybe 20. Whenever she started doing what was it The
Roman.
Voice or
Roman.
American Idol? No,
Oh,
when
okay.
she got on there, that's when she got disinterested in rap.
Gotcha.
So you know
20.
she became more of a personality
Well,
for me.
on her Wikipedia page, 2014 to 2017 is marked as the Pink Print and other ventures. So I guess that's the
Yeah,
era.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of when she went off and did those things, and she excelled at those things. But it wasn't like the music. It
Mm,
wasn't like, oh, you're killing me with like whole albums.
right, right. All right. So another interesting music conversation that popped across my timeline, and I was annoyed. Somebody said, settle an argument between me and my young ass team. My side, music released in the last 20 years cannot compete with music that was released 20 years before it.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
And
the
I don't know.
conversation is 1980 to 1980 to 2000 versus 2000 to 2020. And I'm like, nigga, D'Angelo dropped a whole perfect fucking album in 2006, like 2005. What are you talking about? What do you mean?
The
And
two thousands was
the
the best era
extension
of music.
the extension of that conversation was we don't have classic records or classic albums that have come out in the last 20 years.
What? That's goofy.
I said, shut your whole face up. I
Listen,
said, does Kendrick not count? Like, what are we talking about?
hold on,
Like,
hold on, hold on. From 2000 to 2005 alone, wouldn't the Blueprint come out?
the Blueprint came out in 90.
No, it
No,
didn't.
you're right. Black Album was like 2000. You know what? She
I'm like, what
bugging.
are
I
we
want to
talking
go
about?
back on that
I'm
thread now and be like,
I'm just
Bill.
I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out like
I was still in New York when the Blueprint came out, but that was like, yeah, the Blueprint came out in '01 on September 11th. Blueprint came out in '01. Black Album came out, what, '05?
mm-hmm.
Ma'am.
I mean, Get Rich or Die Trying is a 2000 plus. That I don't understand.
So
50
if they
Cent.
were saying, and so one valid point that somebody brought up, and I was engaging this conversation at 4 in the morning before I went to sleep. So my brain was a little off. And this part of it kind of hit me later. One person said the difference is now when we're talking to people about, and really, one, I think that we're so overwhelmed with content and conversations and music and everything else that it's very easy for us to forget what has
It's,
happened in the last 20 years. Because, like you just said,
it
like
is. It's easily.
The
It's
Blueprint, Get Rich or Die Trying, Good Kid, Mad City, Damn. If we go on the R&B side, like I said, Instant Vintage.
oh
Um,
we can do a lot happened after 2000. Let's just like it's a weird conversation. I could see if they said 2010 on. But from 2000 to 2010, even 2012, 2013, we got my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
So one thing, so the point that the person brought up was that, nowadays, and this to your point, maybe in the last 10 years, when something is really fire, it's not necessarily unanimously, universally known that that thing is fire.
but I
Like,
think that's a more recent thing that we want to
yeah.
say. I think that's more 2016 on.
And I think that that's also because the process of music discovery has become very, very individual. And that was the
Exactly.
part that I didn't think about when we were having the conversation on social, is that we're not all finding out about the same shit because it's on MTV's rotation or on the
Right.
radio or whatever.
Yeah.
We're individually picking a song. Like me personally, how I discover new music most of the time is I'll find a song that I like and I'll start a radio station with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of what I listen to normally, the station I start off of that one song is not necessarily going to sound like the station that you start off of that same song.
Right.
It's going to pull in different things, right? So, I can be like, nigga, Lucky Day dropped a classic R&B album last year. What are you talking about? And somebody could be like, oh, I've never heard of Lucky Day. But that doesn't invalidate the fact that Lucky Day's music is amazing. But they were trying to argue that, because less people might know about these classic records, some of these classic records, it's not the same, that the music isn't having the same impact as it did 20 years ago.
Like I said, for somebody who's old, yeah.
Oh, this definitely came from an old nigga.
I just feel like certain people romanticize their youth, and that's cool. Because I know it was a lot of trash in the 90s. Like we just had the conversation. Every rap album that came out wasn't fire.
It was
But
not.
like, I'm sorry, Raekwon, but let's have the Raekwon conversation. What was the album that came out after Purple Tape?
I don't know.
Immobilarity. It was
Oh,
brown.
yeah.
Why? Because it was shit.
Oh, it says.
Featuring the American Cream Team. It was trash. It was trash. It was absolute trash. Everything that came out, even from dope artists. Like, we got to remember, in that side of the era, Wu-Tang had already fallen off.
That's real.
So, whatever. Like, everything that was dropping wasn't dope. How many CDs, how many cassettes were in the 99-cent bin? That joint was full.
How much shit would not have been bought if we could have just bought the song that we liked?
But, remember the discount bin when you went to, like, Tower or wherever? Like,
Yeah.
Sam Goody? That was the joint nobody wanted. So,
Yeah.
all those records that weren't selling, 99-cent bin, that joint was always overflowing. There was a lot of music that labels dropped that wasn't hot. So I get it. There's like more music coming out, but there's also a lot of dope stuff that's come out. There's a lot of music that's memorable. Like I said, Good Kid, Mad City is a classic album. That came out, 2012? We can keep going. We can go through each year and find.
Remember our very first episode of this show when we just tried to remember the shit that came out last year?
Right. Oh, that was
like, I hate when people have these conversations because, again, the music is there if you want to find it.
Right.
If you're not interested in what these kids are making now, that's fine. You don't have to. It's not for you.
It's
Right,
but you don't gotta
disrespect that you and I like Guap Dad, but Guap Dad is not making music for 40-year-old niggas. Neither is the baby.
I know some 40-year-old scammers who love Guap Dad, but I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, he's not making music for us. If it falls and when we rock with it, great. But he shouldn't be making music for us. Jack Harlow shouldn't be making music for me. The baby shouldn't be making music.
Here's the thing: I don't believe in age as a thing of music. I believe music's music. And if it speaks, music is a lifestyle thing. So age doesn't dictate your lifestyle. If you're out on the west side right now and you outside the barbershop with no mask on, Guap Dad and Lil Baby might
Why
still
you
be
pick the
feeling.
west side? Why you got to pick my neighborhood, bro?
Because that's where I go get my haircut.
Go to the south side.
If you on MLK and you out there and okay, so if you're on Old National, if you on
Let's talk about
Road,
Miami.
if you on Godby Road or whatever, like that still might be your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? There's some old ass niggas out there still trapping and scamming.
Very much so. But to your point, let's say it's lifestyle and not age, right? Everything is not going to appeal to me, and that's okay.
And that's fine.
And I just really wish that we would allow the genre to grow properly by saying that there are Rhapsodies out there and there are City Girls out there, and some girls are the same person.
But here's the wild thing:
And
Rhapsody probably bopping to some City Girls
of course
stuff.
she is. She's from
City
South
Girls probably bopping
Carolina.
Rhapsody stuff.
Let me
But
tell you something. She
that's
is
the
from South
fan.
Carolina. She grew
Exactly.
up going to parties with a lot of booty
Just like
shaking.
everybody else, but they act like people get put in a box. We put these artists in a box. We try to put our like I always say 96 and Polo. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the 96 and Polo dude. Like those people want to live that lifestyle and they want to be stuck there. That's cool, but don't be mad when other people,
When other
you
people
know,
want to move on,
keep
talking about
moving.
ain't no new music, ain't no great music been made in the last 20 years. Ma'am, if you don't sit down, sit down. All right, we're back on the live for.
I was
Oh,
about
I
to
just
say,
cleared my throat
isn't
loud as
it?
fuck in this microphone. I'm
Didn't
sorry,
they
you
put a
guys.
Kendrick album in the Smithsonian or something like that?
No, he won a
He
Pulitzer.
won a
Damn, won
Pulitzer.
a
Like what? Yeah,
Pulitzer.
like what are we talking about here? This man won a Pulitzer. Like,
I just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
we having a whole revolution
Um,
right now, and they picked the Kendrick Lamar song as the theme. So okay,
okay, so we try to avoid certain shit on this podcast. If y'all had not noticed, we don't really do a whole lot of gossip, and we don't do a whole lot of like arrests and things like that.
I am more than happy to not avoid this one.
Okay, y'all gotta get academics the fuck out the paint.
We should have been got academics out of here.
But actually, before we get into academics, because that's literally, if you guys could see the notes for our prep for the show, what I said was I don't want to talk about academics, but I do want to talk about Freddie Gibbs.
Because that's what we should be talking about. Because Freddie Gibbs deserves his flowers.
Can y'all please stop acting like Freddie Gibbs ain't out here? Freddie Gibbs has dropped critically acclaimed projects every year for the last 6.
And he's charted on Billboard for those projects, and he's made that money independently. Here's the thing. Let me just break Academics' goofy ass down real quick. Okay, Academics is still on the fan side of music. You know why? Because anybody that actually understood the business side of music would know that an independent artist that's selling and keeping most of their money is doing better than these fraud ass, fake rented chains and rented car, rented homes, making video ass rappers any day.
Yeah, we gotta start doing this show first thing in the morning more often. Yo ass.
I got my coffee, so hey, listen, I'm
We
just
gotta start
saying.
doing this when the caffeine is fresh.
Because what he tried to say was something like, Freddie wasn't getting no money. Freddie said,
He
my
said
son's
his
room.
actual quote was, "If Jeezy is irrelevant, then Freddie Gibbs is definitely irrelevant." And you should have seen the faces of his co-hosts who were like, Freddie Gibbs? Freddie Gibbs? Like, are we talking about the same person? Because, sir, what?
Right.
So since then, of course, Gibbs went in on his ass on social. Um, and now everybody is exposing how goofy Akademiks is. Akademiks apparently told John Legend to get his bitch in reference to that man's wife.
So my thing is, where's this dude hiding to watch somebody not whooped his ass? Does he also not know Freddie Gibbs is kind of a gangster?
Literally a gangster.
I'm sorry, Freddie. I didn't mean to snitch on you, but I
I
don't
mean, but
think
he calls himself a gangster, doesn't
I
he?
just don't.
Like, you're
But
not
you know what?
snitching.
Because Freddie's also a really funny dude, and I love his Instagram feed because it's jokes. But don't get it twisted. If we put if these two met each other in a dark alley or in a light alley,
He's not letting it happen.
Academics would get trashed. So
Academics is not letting it
I
happen.
just don't know. Like this is the same dude who was scared. What was it in the complex building? He was scared. What was that? Joe Budden's walking through looking for him or something like.
Is that what it was, or was
I
it
forget,
when?
but somebody was looking for him. But
The point is that like I get the idea of the shock jock, right? I get the idea of the person that's going to say something wild and be, the most hated, blah, blah, blah. At one point, that was Charlemagne. I feel like Charlemagne's publishers told him that they needed him to change his image, and so he kind of toned it down a little bit. Envy tries to play that role sometimes, but I think Envy don't really want that smoke either. So it's almost like you're looking for the urban version of, or what was old boy's name? That used to be on the morning show on Hot 97. You know who I'm talking about. That was like the notorious hater that was on the morning
Oh, Star and Buckwild.
Star and Buckwild. Star.
But see, they were shit talkers in the middle of New York City in the era where people would pull up to the station,
right.
and they was about that life.
And they were about that life. Beyond that, I think to me is for you to make like loud, I'm gonna stand on my square hot takes, you have to be of the culture and you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you're talking about. And that I think is the issue with Akademiks. Like I don't know that Akademiks is really like of the culture.
Nah, he's just an observer. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, if you understand
I mean, you could be a fan. You could not understand how the business works, but you're still of the culture.
Nah. If you spend all your time fake analyzing music and you don't actually know how any of it works.
All right, you guys are sending it for me. I'm gonna head out.
You called Freddie Gibbs broke. So let's just go back. Let's go back to Freddie.
Irrelevant.
Let's go back to Freddie Gibbs' initial statement. Musically, Yeezy is irrelevant. That doesn't mean that Yeezy's irrelevant as a person.
No.
It doesn't mean that Yeezy might tell you he's irrelevant as a rapper. He probably won't, but
he won't, because ego.
The last 3 or 4 things, and I'm one of the biggest Yeezy fans ever. One of the last 4 things that he put out is just not. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time.
And that doesn't take anything away from your legacy. Like
no,
Jeezy
not at all,
is
man.
you just said it. Jeezy is a linchpin, very important person for a very important pivotal point in hip hop.
Exactly.
1 and 2, what I will say about Jeezy, and I've said it before, is that Jeezy and T.I. opened the door for a wave of artists that are just now coming out in the sense of Southern artists who are still lyrical, who might still talk about street shit.
Right.
And whether, I know that they have their issues, and so he may be reluctant to admit it, but Jeezy is part of the reason why Gibbs got kind of the look that he did.
Of course. I mean, that's not even a question. Jeezy put Gibbs in a very good position. At one time, Jeezy had a staple artist, USDA. If you go back to some of those projects, you'll find Freddie Gibbs all over 10103, all over the mixtapes that Jeezy had. He had him, he had Tone Trump, he had a couple other people,
he had
not
Slick
from...
Pulla, Slick Pulla is one of the best
Slick Pulla's been there
rappers
forever.
from Atlanta. No, but I need y'all to understand that Slick Pulla is one of the best rappers in Atlanta. Slick Pulla and Young Dro. Dro by his own fault. Slick Pulla because of industry politics. But listen, them two.
Yeah, Dro. Yeah. So,
and I'll add one more and say Rah-Rah. Because Rah-Rah is still out here dropping music every 3 days anyway. So, like, Rah-Rah is out here and Rah-Rah is rapping.
And you can do that in Atlanta. Atlanta's like a lot like Texas. You got a lot of, like, street superhero cats who've been rapping and they out here doing their thing and they going to continue. And they eating off music, and they might not be on the national stage, but they can do a show from here to Huntsville to, Biloxi and all that, and be just fine. So
just like Texas. Texas artists don't even got to leave Texas.
At all. For what?
So my thing is this, like, people got to start saying, you know what? I don't know. Let me go find out. Instead of loudly saying some shit ain't real. Because when my homegirl who's from Houston tells me about shit in Houston, I'd be like, you know what, sis? I had no idea. Let me go do some homework. If niggas was to tell me something, like, I remember I worked on a project with, oh man, why am I blanking on his name? Damn. A couple of the guys from Taylor Gang who are from Cali. Like, the West Coast is a whole separate, different beast. So if somebody tells me something about the Bay, if somebody tells me something about Seattle, if somebody tells me something about anything, like, it's okay to not know.
Right.
It's okay to not know.
But Akademiks has to react because he lives in that reactionary bubble. He's the new style of journalism or whatever it is, podcasting or just saying whatever the fuck it is you want on the internet without thinking. And then you get G-checked by somebody like Freddie Gibbs. And please believe Freddie Gibbs is going to go all the way with this. Why? Because he can. So.
Yeah, he can. And he really did.
But once again, to just take it back even to the scammer conversation, there are people in hip-hop who are still going to be here because there's a subsection that's only here for the sideshow. They only here for the money. They don't really care about the culture. And those are the people who keep that guy alive. So, there's always going to be academics. You just got to not pay him attention like I usually do until he beefs with somebody like this. So shout out to
Right.
Freddie Gibbs, man. This last couple
And now
projects.
everybody's like, yo, we got to get him up out of here.
Yeah, but how many times we've been trying to cancel this clown?
Well, I think Freddie Gibbs is the man for the job because Freddie
I hope
said, "I'm
so.
gonna torture you until you quit your job." The other thing too that he did, which I thought was really really interesting, and I was waiting to see how Complex was going to respond, is that Freddie Gibbs went and dug up a statement from 2015 where Akademiks was commenting on Bad Baby's body as a 15-year-old.
Well, yeah,
Very much a minor.
Like I said, had you not. Akademiks has done enough to not only be canceled but fired by Complex. Complex does not care. Let's be clear. Double XL, Complex, these media groups, they do not care. They care about clicks. They care about money. That's it.
Shouts to You Think on our the IG Live
IG,
feed.
what up?
Who said that Jeezy has actually said that the reason why the last 3 albums were trashed is because his contract was trash and he was just basically trying to get out of his deal. And he
Listen,
just bullshit.
I'm here for it. Whenever Jeezy want to drop,
Some
he's always gonna get a listen from me because I'm that much of a fan. I was at Church in the Street, so that was my joint. Like I'm a Jeezy guy. So when Jeezy,
yeah, and Jeezy, and I will say that, like, even in the times when the albums as complete projects haven't necessarily hit the mark, like he'll still give you some
he'll
shit.
give you something.
Right.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
a matter
fine.
of him getting with the right person.
Right, but his era has passed for making music every day. He got other things going on in life. You know what I'm saying? He's got other things, and people got to realize that, and that's okay. Freddie Gibbs is still out here making music on a regular basis, and making music at a high level on a regular basis, getting critically acclaimed, and like I said, charting on Billboard. It's not like him. Freddie Gibbs' last 3 projects have all charted above 50 on the top 100 on Billboard. That's not a broke nigga thing, dog. Especially when you're doing it on an independent label. You getting most of that money.
Which reminds me,
some math. How you name Akademiks? You dumb as shit.
Ooh, 20. Yo, we are taping this in the morning forever from now on. I like this. I like Sis with the caffeine in his system. Okay, so this reminds me of another conversation that came up the other day. It was the I'm trying to get to the person's page that the conversation happened on. It was a post with the freshman cover that featured 21 Savage, Anderson .Paak.
2016.
That cover.
Yeah,
2016, is that what it was?
Yeah, because we had to give a shout out to Double XL and Vanessa Satin for not paying our fucking producers for doing the music.
Oh, buddy, I'm still a writer who wants to get checks from places for writing, by the way. Okay, so the question was, who is the most successful off of that cover? And let me give you again the names on that cover.
I already know the answer, but go ahead.
Yachty, Designer, Dave East, is that Denzel Curry?
It is.
Okay. G Herbo, Kodak Black,
yep.
Uzi, Little Dicky, Anderson .Paak, and 21 Savage.
So the most successful is tough to gauge. There are 4 people on that list who've all been very successful in different ways. Little Dicky has been very successful as a personality. Uzi and Anderson .Paak and 21 Savage have been the most successful musically. The rest of them didn't really hit the mark. Some of them are still relevant and around.
Yeah.
But I'd say the person who made the biggest stride was Anderson .Paak because nobody saw. Well, I'd say mainstream didn't see him coming because I saw him coming off of the strength of Compton and Malibu, but nobody really. I mean, people was joking. What is he saying? Who's this guy? And now nobody's saying who's this guy anymore. So, but Uzi's done incredible things, breaking records musically, selling out tours, all that stuff. So And like I said, Lil Dicky got a damn TV show. So those guys, and then 21 Savage, that I Was album was really like a crazy breakthrough for him. So I'd give it to the four people that I mentioned.
So you said 21, Anderson .Paak. Who's the other two? Little Dicky and
Uzi.
And Uzi. I said if we're going just straight off of who's made the most money out of this business,
I'd go with Uzi. Oh wait,
Uzi over 21 Savage. Yeah. Uzi over 21 Savage.
I'd go with Uzi. Yeah.
So the person who posted it said that their pick would be Anderson .Paak as the most successful out of that list.
So, like I said, Andy was the one who most people didn't see coming. He's had tremendous success. He's actually got a Grammy, I believe. So, but I believe
Anderson .Paak has 2 Grammys. 21 Savage has Anderson .Paak has 3, and 21 Savage has 1.
Okay.
2 of Anderson .Paak's Grammys came off of the same project.
Right.
And I think they both won in the same year.
Yes.
And so that was my thing was where, and when we say success, what are we defining it by?
Because, and that's why I said all 4 of those guys, because they've all found success in different arenas. Ways. Ain't nobody gonna tell. First of all, Lil Dicky put out 1 song and got like 100 million plays.
Right. 2.
Right. And
yeah,
I'm just going off the 1 joint, but yes. So, these are things that are not up for debate. Those 4 guys have done a lot of shit. The other ones haven't achieved the same type of success as them. So I just take those 4, put them to the side, and let the other ones lay where they are.
Where they are. Poor Designer.
I mean, Designer made money. He did some things. He's still getting paid. So ain't nobody on, well, I'm not going to say nobody, but, a lot of those people on that list, they're not doing bad. It's just, Anderson and 21, like 21 leveled up.
Let's say this. I will say, and I have to go back and look at some of the other lists, but I think looking at that list, that they're pretty even. Like you take those 4 and those 4 fit in one place in terms of their level of success, commercial appeal, whatever. And then the other 6 are in the same place as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not one of those guys does not have a fan base.
Right.
You can maybe say Designer, but Designer went on tour. So Designer is cool. Designer don't give a fuck about how any of the rest of us feel about anything that he could ever do forever.
He's still getting paid. So, like Designer is doing this thing.
Like that might be the most even of the lists. In terms of, I don't know, I got to go back and look at the list, and I'm obviously not going to do that right now. But so remind me that we want to talk about that next week.
All right, bet.
All right, you guys, let's switch over to talking about some music right quick. Things that dropped this week. Megan Thee Stallion is back.
She is.
And people don't really love Girls in the Hood.
What?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
People. Hold on a second.
People don't love it's always somebody that don't love anything. Let me tell you something. This is one of my favorite beats for you children who don't know. The original track was Boys in the Hood by Eazy-E, produced by Dr. Dre, written by Ice Cube. If you saw the movie Compton, you'll see the story behind it. The recording, them teaching Eazy how to rap. It's an iconic.
It was called Straight Outta Compton. Yes, right. The album that we wanted to be Detox was called Compton.
The album you wanted to be Detox.
Not me, y'all. Not me.
So, like I said, I was there, so I knew it wasn't Detox, but the world didn't want it to be Detox.
Yes.
But yeah. So, and then it was redone by, I believe, who's the guy who drops everybody's names? The Game. It was redone by The Game.
That's
and
so
Jim
horrible
Jones.
That we're like, who's the notorious name dropper? And everybody.
I had his eye, but The Game and Jim Jones redid it in the early 2000s, and it always bangs. That beat, you can't mess that up.
Yeah.
And she didn't mess that up. So I don't know what y'all talking about. Let Megan live, dog. Her
Let
audience likes
Megan
it.
let Megan not keep giving y'all the same record over and over again. Let that girl have room for growth, please and thank you.
They
Please.
don't. They don't want it. They don't.
They
They don't
don't
want
want it.
her to. No. So
They
whatever.
don't want.
I need the people that are so. Like I saw Jansport J say something dope. I'm only gonna post things that I support.
Yes.
Right, and I just feel like a lot of folks need to do that.
I get that
So
from DJ Kerosene a lot. DJ Kerosene said that to me a while back. Like, if you focus on the things that you love, not only will you find more things that you love, but then also like you're not bringing attention to the things you don't like.
yeah. So real quick, we got a request to reintroduce ourselves. So once again, I go by the name of Scissor215, and this
Y'all
is
don't know who we are?
my co-D, Saint Boogie.
Hey man, I'm a whole ass immigrant out here. Please do not call me a co-defendant. Thanks. Co-host, co-creator.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'm joking.
Abolish,
You know, but I'm not
abolish
getting deported.
ICE.
I'm not getting deported. Yeah, and this is the Chopping Block podcast for those who missed it. You're welcome, you'd think. We appreciate you being here and
Thank you.
engaging.
Yeah, dope, dope.
All right, so musically, Kanye's back?
Kanye is back.
Can Kanye come back for real? Can
Yes,
Kanye come back from the whole MAGA situation?
he can.
Okay.
I'm being honest with myself.
Okay.
He can.
Because in reality, we never really canceled Kanye because the music wasn't dope. Because there was a lot of good stuff on Life of Pablo. Maybe not the whole album.
There was.
There's a lot of good records on Life of Pablo.
So for me, Kanye musically hasn't been the Kanye that I had for a decade, but he's done some stuff and made some music that was dope. And a lot of my friends made music with him.
Yes. Same.
So that's cool. But yes, Kanye can come back from this. I'm just gonna be
So
honest.
Kanye this week called was it last Friday? He called it West Day Ever.
Mm.
And so that's the day that he announced his partnership with the Gap. Which is, the idea is to give you Yeezy like designs at a Gap price point. He announced his new foam runners, which are ghastly and horrible, but hype beasts are gonna cop.
They're gonna buy him.
He announced I thought was a new video for a song that was already out, but this was actually a new song, which is "Wash Us in the Blood" featuring Travis Scott.
Which is found on every outlet except for Tidal.
You ain't right for pointing that out, but
I
yes.
thought that was interesting. And
Yes,
guess what?
because this morning Sis was like, "Oh, it's not out on streaming platforms yet. I can't find it on Tidal." I was like, "Let's just look elsewhere and see."
And I looked and it was everywhere else.
Yeah, except for
Tidal.
Tidal.
I actually like it.
I do too.
The video is a little much.
I didn't watch the whole video.
So
There was a lot of revival scenes in the parts that I saw, though.
But the song I like. The videos, I guess somebody's trying to be abstract and cool or whatever. But I like the song.
Oh, you know what? The video was actually shot by this. There's this visual artist named, I want to say, Anthony Jaffa, I think is his name. And he made a short film that was, like strictly for the purpose. It was like an art, like it was recently purchased by the Smithsonian for two of their collections, and it was all soundtracked by Ultralight Beam. So the same guy who did that is who directed this video.
So yeah, it's like an amalgamation of clips, things that are going on. It's some weird scenes of people suffering from COVID-19. It's police brutality. It's Kanye. It's a bunch of stuff. It's a visual mindfuck. So if you're into that type of thing, check it out.
You're into
It's got a lot of, I think it's at it's almost 7 million plays so far.
I mean, I'm sure it's a Kanye video. Okay. And then now he's also on a new song by Ty Dolla $ign. Ty Dolla $ign dropped a new record called Ego Death, and it features Kanye West, FKA Twigs, and Skrillex, which means Skrillex was involved in the production. FKA Twigs is kind of on a hook-ish, doing some background vocals, and really Kanye's the feature.
Right.
The very prominent feature. So I'll be honest with you, I am here for a world in which Kanye can come back, because I can't delete Kanye from my catalog from my playlists. I'm not going to.
Kanye.
There are many times where I will pull up one song off of out of the first three, and then I have to go through and listen to all three albums from beginning to end.
If I'm going to pick something to be a hypocrite about, it's going to be Kanye West. I've always said that I always leave the door open for this guy, because he's probably one of the most curious people. I just want to know, like, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times I find out, and it's interesting. So I'm here for it.
The artist's name, by the way, is Arthur Jaffa, not Anthony. It's Arthur. My bad.
So this particular track has complete Black house vibes.
Yes. Actually, it gave me Afrobeats vibes a little bit.
It gave me Crystal Waters vibes.
Okay.
So there's been a resurgence of, and it's ironic that it's during Pride Month. House music is not, it hasn't been attributed to the correct people. Gay Black people blew house music up in the 90s, and they made that scene, and then it was obviously taken away from them by white DJs and turned into something else. But cancel playlist is a good idea. But this has that Crystal Waters, gypsy woman feel. Like it's got that like 90s, house music vibe. And I fuck with it.
I do too, definitely. I ain't gonna hold you. I really didn't listen to a whole lot of stuff. I've really spent the whole week, like I told y'all I was going to, listening to Black Parade every morning. Every single morning. And then now getting ready for Beyonce's dropping a visual album on July 31st called Black is King. From what I'm seeing, it's inspired by the music on The Gift.
Okay. And it's going to be it's dropping on Disney Plus, right?
On Disney Plus. So somebody share your password. Sis, you're somebody. I know you have.
I got one.
Disney Plus. Let me tell y'all the real funny thing, right? This is the 3 announcements that I saw, because y'all know I do a little news brief. For those of you who didn't know, I do a news brief daily. You can find it on my Instagram page, or if you go to YouTube and search Ty St. Louis, it's on YouTube also. And you can find it on most podcasting platforms. It's on Spotify, it's on Audiomack, called Yesterday's News. So the audio version says Yesterday's News by Ty St. Louis, and then the rest you can find whatever. So I'm looking at news every day. I saw first an announcement that Beyonce had signed a deal for 3 projects with Disney. Remember? And the internet went nuts thinking that somebody started the rumor that Beyonce was going to be playing Storm in Black Panther 2 or something like that. They've been complaining about Halle Berry not as long as Halle Berry's been Storm. You really think they're going to give that to Beyonce? No, it's not happening. The second announcement I saw was that Disney Plus canceled free memberships. You can't get a trial membership on Disney Plus no more. And they linked that to Hamilton. Hamilton drops tonight on Disney Plus at midnight. Yeah, Hamilton comes out on Disney Plus on, July 3rd. So tonight, tomorrow. I say midnight, but I forget that a lot of times they won't do it until midnight West Coast time.
Right.
And then the next announcement that I saw was at Beyonce. So I was like, I'm going to get a free trial. Damn, can't even get a free trial. I might pay that 10 for Beyonce. Just like when they dropped that Carter's album, I reactivated that Tidal membership
immediately, right?
So fast.
That's how I was when I forgot Jay-Z dropped an album, and I was like, oh,
444.
I said no, it was the
one. Oh no, yeah, that was
Magna Carta Holy Grail.
Magna Carta Holy Grail, which I was just talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So 444 just turned 3 this week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's been 3 years. Are you still listening to that album?
I still listen to it when it comes up on like a playlist, but I don't really go back and listen to a lot of music.
Yeah, me too. Okay. So they just got sued for, that's the Carter's album, for Black Effect. But I definitely still I have Family Feud in playlists that I listen to often, and I listen to BAM often. Those are still 2 of my favorite records.
Oh yeah, I should.
Heavy rotation.
So
and I said
the crazy part is the visuals on that album. Like, I would like to see that in a visual format because
Okay.
every visual on 444 was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it should be packaged that way. Like, just
Yeah.
give me I mean, we don't have DVDs. Well, we have, some people do, but you know, if I could get that in a visual format, I would watch that all the time because I love like Moonlight, the video, and it's got Mahershala Ali, a lot of crazy visuals.
Mm-hmm. All right. So who else dropped this week? Tony Braxton dropped a remix to a song I didn't even know existed
With Missy.
It's called "Do It."
Produced by Hannon Lane. If you don't know who Hannon Lane is, he is one of Timbaland's ghost producers. I'm sorry, he's from Team Timbo back in the day, or whatever he called it. Yeah. Hannon Lane's one of the greatest producers of all time that you should know more about, but you don't.
And then I'm sorry because I'm answering somebody while I'm talking to you guys at the same time. So I'll just answer it out loud. So to Produced by Ryan Scott. What I mean, the lawsuit that's happening with the Black Effect is, you know, at the beginning of the song, there's the older Jamaican lady that they ask about love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that woman is a choreographer. She is a poet. She's an actress. She has a PhD. I'm blanking on her name right now, but essentially they hired her to provide dancers for a promo shoot that they were doing in Jamaica because, you know, they did all the promo for that the Carter's album and for 444. They did a lot of stuff in Jamaica around that time, right?
Yeah.
And so she was hired to bring in some dancers. If you listen to the very first song on there, which is Summertime, at the end of Summertime, there's an older Jamaican man who is talking about love. So I guess they asked a bunch of different people about it. She says essentially that they had her sign a release that was a quote unquote standard release that was pretty much supposed to cover the dancers, right?
Right.
She asked if she could have, you know, her son happens to be a lawyer. She asked if she could send a copy to her son so he could read it over real quick. They said that she couldn't do that, but, you know, it's just a standard agreement. She signed it. They asked her about, you know, they asked her the question, can you tell us about love? And you hear that part on the record. And they told her that it was going to be used for promotional purposes only. And then it's at the beginning of the song. It's on the
Promotional
record.
purposes only. Why would somebody tell? This is Jay-Z and Beyonce. Why would somebody say this is going to be for promotional use only? They should just lay this lady a bag and said, "All right, cool, see you later."
And now she gonna get her bag.
Oh well, better get the bag. When stuff like that happens, just pay the people. They're gonna get paid. This is a non thing. Like, she's gonna get paid, and
yeah, and it's gonna go away
about their business.
But yeah, I definitely, because like to me, I think that what she says at the beginning is very much tied to like how much I love that song. I love that song. Like, that is one of my favorite songs. I live on MLK. I damn near want to play this song every time I make that right onto MLK. I was in Miami. MLK Boulevard is right outside of Little Haiti, man. Whew. Anyway, so take care of that lady. I'm mad I'm blanking on her name right now. I'm sorry, you guys. All right. Other new music that came out this week. Big Boy and Sleepy Brown got a new record out called Can't Sleep, produced by 808 Blake, formerly of SMKA.
Wow, I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah, so Blake actually started doing a lot of stuff with Nappy Roots.
For those of y'all who don't know, because we get a lot of producers following us, 808 Blake and Kato used to be a production team
called SMKA.
Yep.
Supermarket Kung Fu. I forget what the A was called. Attack.
Yeah,
that's what it stands for.
Supermarket Kung
Fu Attack. Yeah. So yeah, that's out, and it feels like grown folks uncle music. It feels like a CeeLo record, and that's not a bad thing.
It also feels like Big Boy's vocals were mixed in a completely different space than Sleepy Brown's were. And if y'all listen, especially big artists, please get somebody to come to your house and hook you up with your setup. So y'all record these vocals and y'all upload.
I don't believe that them two did not go to the studio at the same time. I believe that in Big Boy's social distancing pod, Sleepy Brown is definitely in that pod.
It don't sound that great. So I wanted to enjoy it, but I couldn't because it's not the quality sonically that I expect from Big Boy. And I think the last thing he put out was like that too. So just got to make sure. Shout out to Track Live in the building. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, just got to make sure that those things are on point.
Our favorite Guap Dad dropped a video for Little Scammer That Could.
Hey, yes, he did.
I can't wait to meet Guap Dad. Somebody tell Guap Dad I want to meet him. And then Buddy tapped Lucky Day for a new song called Faces. And y'all know I'm slightly problematic and my inner fuckboy is strong. I enjoy that record a lot.
It's a good record.
It was very relatable content. Y'all should go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was relatable to me. I don't know. And Terrace Martin is still out here, like, really, you know, kind of leading the charge on this protest music still. So his latest is called Tag. And it's, you know, on that topic of, like, basically being wrongfully accused and stopped by the cops.
Shout out to Robert Glasper.
Robert Glasper, Ninth Wonder, Kamasi Washington, and somebody named Felix, but spelled like a phoenix, but with an L instead of an N.
Right, PH.
Not sure who that is. Shouts to them. That was a good record. Was there anything else that dropped this week that caught your attention?
Man, Moneybagg Yo got some new work out. Jayla Darden, who's a young singer-songwriter from Atlanta, she's getting some burn. She's got a record out right now that she produced, mixed, mastered, wrote. Like this kid.
Wow. Okay.
She is a phenom. And if you're in producer conversations, you'll see a lot of producers big her up. She's incredible. So it's Jayla Darden. And that's on all the social media. I mean, on all of the DSPs. If you go to Tidal, you hit the new music section. It's not too far down the list. So she's getting a little front page love too.
That's what's up. I know the homie Scala tagged me in a song that he just dropped that I saw in transit and haven't gotten a chance to listen to. Unfortunately, a lot of times I'll be around little people with little ears and I don't be, you know, they're not my kids, so I don't play certain music around them if I don't know what the content is going to be. They're getting older now, so it's a little bit easier.
Did you listen to the Nick Grange joint? How was that?
You know what? I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing. I listened to a couple joints on there, but I mean, it's Nick, and it's exactly what you would expect from him, which is quality music.
There you go.
My girl Book Brown partnered with Spitzwell, who is a producer based here in Atlanta, and she dropped an EP called Summer Days that you should check out. She has a song on there that has, like, it's like Atlanta true school lyricist fest. It's her, Ekandayo, Backwood Mark, who is an artist formerly known as Alien Craft, and Stanza.
I remember Alien
on the same record.
Oh, Aloe Black also dropped a record.
Like a song or a whole project?
Song. And of course, Tyga, the little engine that could, also dropped one.
Did you just call him the little engine that could?
Man, listen, you can't stop Tyga. He's gonna get his songs off.
He is. All right, let's run through the stuff that came out last week really, really quickly. Black dropped a EP called 6 Piece Hot because Atlanta loves its chicken wings references. We told y'all CeeLo had a project coming out, which I definitely need to check out. CeeLo Green is Thomas Calloway. That dropped last week. Max B's Charlie EP finally dropped. Finally. So did G-Eazy, Everything's Strange Here, and that's G-Eazy's departure from rap. He's left the building.
Oh, yeah, no, he's definitely not. Yeah, we listened to that project last night, and I'm just like, G-Eazy, yeah, this ain't G-Eazy, this is Gerald.
This is Gerald. And you know, like, and I know that you and I have had this conversation, Sis, about, you know, like, let artists do what they want to do, and I totally get that, but there is a certain sense of resentment, not resentment, but we do have to point out the fact that, like, Black artists can't move around genre like this fluidly,
right?
With the same level of success.
And when we say that, let's clarify for the audience. When we say that the powers that be don't want them to do that. Not that they can't do it. It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon, and I think that you've pointed out before, we tend to be a little bit less forgiving as audiences.
Right, because we
like
keeping it real and all that stuff.
Pink can come in and give us 2 banging R&B albums or 1 R&B album and then say, yeah, I'm going to go pop. And half of her R&B fan base is like, what? Why would you do that? And then she goes on to have this ridiculous career. You know, your boy, what is that man's name with all the tattoos? The one that looks dirty.
Oh, Post Malone.
Sorry,
That's
Posty, you
me.
do. But
You
Post
know.
has been straddling the fence since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like from the very beginning, like you popped up, you went, you know, what made you popular was a rap record, and you've been denouncing hip hop pretty much from then. And then, you know, G-Eazy, I've always said it's interesting to me because I drove Uber for a little bit. And there's a lot of G-Eazy like straight up and down rap records that get played on pop stations that don't get played on urban radio at all. And so that allows for him, and by the same token, on these same pop stations, there's a lot of really, really big rap records that don't get any play at all, right? And that leaves the lane open for G-Eazy to decide to go from young Gerald to just straight up Gerald and be like, all right, I'm gonna be over here.
But these are the conversations we're having right now anyway, right? So this is what we're trying to fix, right? Like this is, you know, we stopping the pausing, wearing, you know, fight the power of black screens and stuff. That's what this is about, right?
And changing vocals on cartoons that have been out for 20 years.
Can I just shout out August Alsina real quick?
Yeah.
Shout out to August Alsina.
I'm not having that conversation.
That's
though.
it. I'm done.
Okay.
That was all I had. No, because you know it's album season. When you got an album out, you know you out here doing your little promo and stuff. I don't want the music to be overshadowed. Because some of my homies put out some good music with August Alsina. So hopefully y'all can get past the tea and listen to August Alsina's music.
Yes. Get past the tea. And then also, like, I'm gonna say this as somebody who cringes every time I see civilians have conversations about media. Yes, he had an album dropping. That's when the fuck people do interviews. Like nobody wants to talk to August Alsina. Nobody wants to talk to very few artists. Like as somebody who's worked in PR and as a journalist, I don't want to talk to you if you don't got something going on. This is when he's supposed to be doing press. This is when he's supposed to be talking about whatever he chooses to talk about. And, you know, Angela Yee hosts a podcast about sex. Like what? Anyway. All right, you guys. Tomorrow's the first Friday of July.
Yay, July. And we are not celebrating July the 4th.
You're not?
Fuck this shit.
Okay, cool.
But what we are doing is a very special edition of the Pull Up with all the Bounce Gang members. So make sure you tune in to Bounce Gang and I Standard Instagram for that.
Y'all cover me in the blood because I got to go to Florida the next 3 weekends.
Holy crap. Strap up. Strap up.
Matter of fact, you just reminded me I need to go buy some gloves. Like I got hand sanitizer wipes and hand sanitizer in my car that live in my car. There's also a bottle of hand sanitizer that lives in my purse, the purse that I carry with me everywhere. There's a mask that lives in my car. I'm gonna go light a candle. I'm gonna say 3 Hail Marys. Might go buy some holy water. You never know. Just cover all bases. And charging my crystals on Saturday because Saturday's a full moon.
If you guys have not been paying attention, COVID is still here, running rampant in southern states and western states, and it's rotating and moving around. So all my Texas people, I just had a homie lose one of his homies to COVID-19. It's very much here. It's very much real. Protect yourself.
Please.
If you got to go out, go out. They just had a wedding in India where the groom became a super spreader and spread it to 90 people, and then the groom died.
Yo, when you say, I'm sorry, damn, he died. Because I really, when you say the groom became a super spreader, it evokes a completely different storyline in my head.
I bet it does. But, you know, it's you know, a lot of people, I see a lot of people try to say, oh, COVID is that. What it is highly contagious.
Highly.
So if you're in a room, the more people you're in a room with, the more likely you are to get it.
Yes.
So especially if you're in an enclosed space. If you go to a venue and there are 5,000 people and one person touches one thing, then all of y'all dumbasses can end up with that shit. So just protect yourself, be smart.
And you know,
We are just at the beginning of this.
we've seen what worked in other places, which was staying your asses at home and covering
We're not listening.
faces.
We don't hear that.
And
We're
you know,
not
I just
them.
want to tell
We're
y'all that
America.
like I'll be honest, I've been thinking about what behaviors I've changed from the beginning of this thing to now, right? Um I don't go outside that much anyway, but I definitely remember I thought about it yesterday. I came home and took off my clothes and threw them on my bed and then did whatever I was gonna do. I remember like the early days of this thing. We were still like taking your clothes off and you gotta immediately go in the hamper and you got as soon as you walk in the house, take a shower. I don't know that I'm doing all that anymore. And because it's so hot, like if I go outside to walk my dog, I'm not necessarily wearing a mask because that mask is beating it's a lot with the glasses. But what I am doing and what I urge all of you to do is to continue to act like we are under quarantine and you only leave your house for essential purposes.
Right. And you know, COVID is a disease that it thrives on proximity.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes, like I said, indoor spaces. Make sure that if you're in a enclosed space, that they have proper ventilation. Just be aware, man, and stay listening to the scientists, man. Every day I wake up and I listen to NPR and I listen to all the news sources because you just got to know it's a bunch of new revelations and you know they're doing clinical trials and all this stuff. Like just stay on top of it because you never know, it might save you or somebody else's life. And the last thing that I just want to say is I hope all y'all guys got in on that EIDL. They're still doing it for you guys in small businesses. They're doing grants. Make sure you look into that. A lot of my homies got a little change in their purse this week, and it's a good look for them. So,
All right, guys. New projects coming in on July 3rd, which is Friday. So I guess this is why Gucci was saying that he was leaving his label on July 3rd. I guess this is going to be his final, maybe his final for Atlantic. So I See Summer. That's
good.
dropping tomorrow. Of course, Pop Smoke in that the cover we still haven't seen yet. That's coming out tomorrow. It's called Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon.
Mac Paint.
Man, that Virgil like blow up. Remember at the beginning of this year when I was like, I bet you all these immigrant kids named Virgil never thought they'd hear their names in a rap song this much. Now y'all getting him fired off of designing covers. West Side Gun is also dropping a new joint tomorrow called Fly God is an Awesome God 2. And what else do we have to look forward to this month? Earl Sweatshirt, Apollo Brown, Shaggy, you guys.
Shaggy is, hey man.
Shaggy ass is still fine, by the way. Neither here nor there.
Shaggy and Sting had a nice little thing going on.
They did. It was like the number one album in like at least the number one international album for a good hot minute. Machine Gun Kelly is dropping this month as well. So is Leanne LaHavis. I'm looking at the names that I know that we really, check for a lot. Boldy James, Anneli Choppa, Alanis Morissette.
Oh, did we miss
Wait,
Willie? We missed Willie Nelson.
wait. I'm sorry. Brandy dropping a new album.
Brandy.
Brandy.
Okay.
Yeah, clearly you're not as excited as I am.
I'm here for Brandy.
That's coming at the end of the month
Cool.
on the 31st, all the way.
Blueface again. Maybe he found the beat.
He didn't. We know he didn't. We know that he did not. That's not his what do I usually say? That's not his ministry. No. Finding the beat is not his ministry. All right, you guys, I think that's gonna do it. We have some good news to share. It's coming very, very soon, but y'all just make sure that you're following the Chop Block Pod is it on YouTube? Do we have a separate YouTube or is it on the iStandard YouTube?
It's on the YouTube. We have our own YouTube.
Okay, so y'all do that. And yeah, and again, if you're tuned in at the end or if you missed it when we said at the beginning, this is the audio iteration of two sections on our website, istandardproducers.com. And that is the credit check, which is the most comprehensive listing of album credits you will find. If we can find it, those credits will be there. That's updated every Thursday night for the most part with all the major releases. And the Chopping Block, which is our track by track album review that we will be restarting soon. Very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, he is at Scissor215 on all socials.
And she is at Saint Boogie on everything except for the
No,
place. Hold on. Wait. Oh, you did.
I made a Facebook page that y'all can go to.
Wow.
Y'all still can't come and sit in my grandma's living room with me and all my real friends. No shade, but shade.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't find her on the place where all the advertisers are leaving.
All the advertisers are leaving.
And Mark Zuckerberg's going crazy. They'll be back.
I feel conflicted about that because I feel like, why are we quitting Facebook if we're not going to quit Instagram? Because I'm not quitting Instagram.
Because most people don't realize that Instagram is Facebook. Facebook is Instagram.
It says Instagram, but shit, WhatsApp is Facebook.
Right.
I can't quit WhatsApp
because I've never got on WhatsApp.
Then how will the guy that's watching my house in Haiti send me 3-minute long audio files just to tell me it's something that could have been said in 30 seconds? Anyway,
I believe it, but yeah, WhatsApp is the most intrusive thing I've ever seen.
So if you go to my Facebook, if you find it's facebook.com/your girl Saint Boogie, it's YA girl Saint Boogie. That is where you will find, my work stuff. Like, I'm going to start kind of including some links to the news stories that I don't include in my broadcast in the mornings. I'll share those on there, things that I find interesting. I have some things that I'm restarting this month that you will see there as well. So, it's there. I still don't want to be your friend on Facebook. And of course, the show is at the Chop Block Pod on everything except for Instagram, where it is at Chop Block Pod. And our Anchor page can accept donations. And to quote the great Princess of Zamunda, we like the kind that jingles, but we love the kind that folds.
Mm-hmm.
Donations, not the trash.
Donations.
Pull up on us.
Hey, y'all have a good one.
We'll be back next week.
Peace.